This debate was truly the longest, loudest fight in modern history. A conflict so intense it toppled empires, divided countries, and even led to the collapse of superpowers. For over a century, capitalism and socialism were not just economic systems. They were literally battle lines where people chose sides. But there is a bitter truth that few people talk about. Neither system worked the way it was described in the books. Neither capitalism nor socialism. Things were much more complicated in the real world. The story of the economy actually begins before the words capitalism or socialism. For thousands of years, life was just about survival. Kings made the decisions. Landowners controlled everything, and the people worked, simply to avoid starvation. No one even dreamed of getting rich or innovating. Then all of a sudden, the Industrial Revolution came and turned the world upside down. In 1700s England, machines replaced human labor. Factories spread everywhere. Capital owners gained incredible power. Wealth increased, but the cost was heavy. Child labor, long hours, dirty cities, and unbearable inequality. And this is precisely where the idea of socialism was born. Marx and Engels looked at the horrific working conditions of the time and said, "This system crushes humanity." For them, the solution was for workers to share ownership of production. It was about everyone receiving the value of their labor. On paper, it sounded fair. In fact, for millions of people living at that time, it was like hope itself. But when it came to implementation, things didn't quite work out that way. In 1917, Russia had a revolution, and the old order collapsed. The Soviets took over the economy completely. However, the planned economy gave rise to scarcity, queues, low efficiency, and a huge bureaucracy. In theory, everyone was supposed to be equal, but in practice, things never went according to plan. Interestingly, capitalism wasn't in great shape during that period either. The Great Depression 1929 nearly caused the system to have a heart attack. Banks failed, millions were unemployed, and everyone started asking, is this what capitalism is? Then World War II erupted, and all economic systems around the world went through the ultimate stress test. Capitalist countries like the US demonstrated massive production power. The Soviets, on the other hand, could rapidly divert all their resources to the war effort. So, both systems showed strength in different ways. The post-war period was essentially a grand laboratory. On one side, the strict Soviet-style planning, ... On the other side, a mix of free market plus welfare state. The result? Capitalist countries adapted, learned from their mistakes, and built social safety nets. The Soviet system, however, couldn't be flexible, couldn't innovate, and stalled. When the wall fell in 1989, the war didn't end, but the debate shifted direction. In the following years, capitalism changed again. Finance grew, globalization increased. But inequality exploded once more. The 2008 crisis showed that the system was still flawed. Socialism returned in a softer version. Demands for a welfare state, free healthcare, fairer taxes, and so on. Looking at the world today, no country is completely capitalist or completely socialist. There is a mixed model everywhere, because life does not permit ideological purity. Neither complete statism works, nor a completely unbridled market. The real question is this: which system can fix a downturn fastest? Which system can keep power in balance? Which system makes people feel secure? History shows us this. Systems that can flex and adapt survive. Rigid ones collapse. At the heart of this conflict, it's not actually economics, but power. State power, capital power, bureaucratic power. All of them are reflections of human behavior. If you liked this perspective, stay tuned. History is the best way to understand what we are living through today.